You've undoubtedly heard about Stonehenge, even if you don't know much about prehistoric architecture and history. The history of this amazing structure dates back more than 5,000 years, and although the people who constructed it undoubtedly valued it, they had no idea that their masterpiece would go on to become renowned around the globe. Who created the monument is one of many baffling mysteries that surround it. What did it serve? Who's buried there? In particular, how did humans in antiquity carry and construct such massive stones? Numerous theories have been put up through the years, including aliens, of course, forgotten technology, pure magic, and blatant witchcraft. But although conjecture is nice and all, Stonehenge doesn't require any aid from stories and tales to be amazing. Since we already know a lot about Stonehenge, it doesn't follow that knowing something doesn't make it more interesting. While there are still many unanswered questions about this structure after more than a century of intensive research, contemporary science has significantly added to our understanding. Visitors to Salisbury Plain in Wiltshire, England, have been in awe of Stonehenge for millennia and have made educated guesses about who built it. Geoffrey of Monmouth, a bishop well known for his fantastical writings on British history, provided one of the first documented ideas. In the 1100s, he believed that Merlin created the monument. Yep, the legendary Arthurian magician Merlin. According to legend, Merlin employed wizardry and enormous pebbles that were initially transported out of Africa by giants to build Stonehenge as a memorial for troops who had died in battle. And for a time, this tale really had a fair amount of popularity. However, later, researchers became more grounded in reality and put out a list of actual candidates, including the Romans and the Greek Mycenaeans. While some of these civilizations did utilize or visit Stonehenge in its later years, according to items discovered there, more recent research has disproven that they were the monument's constructors. The mystery surrounding the construction of Stonehenge has given rise to various intriguing notions throughout history. One such notion involves the involvement of giants, or the offspring of the Nephilim, in its construction, drawing inspiration from myth and legend. According to some ancient myths and folklore, these beings were depicted as powerful and supernatural, possessing the strength and capability to undertake monumental tasks. In this context, the idea suggests that these giants, or Nephilim, may have played a role in moving and positioning the massive stones of Stonehenge. While the notion of giants and Nephilim assisting in Stonehenge's construction has a mythical and fantastical element, it adds an air of mystery and wonder to the monument's history. It reflects the human tendency to attribute extraordinary feats to larger-than-life figures or supernatural forces when faced with the mysteries of the past. Radiocarbon dating has provided a significant amount of that proof. Due to the fact that it generally just calls for radioactive carbon, this technique is one of the most helpful resources available to archaeologists. In the natural world, carbon atoms may be found in a few distinct isotopes with various neutron counts. Some of these isotopes, including the crucial carbon-14 isotope, are radioactive, and as a result, they degrade over time at very predictable rates. Scientists can determine how long ago a substance originated by calculating the amount of radioactive carbon that has decayed in the material. And as a result, they can date a variety of organic materials, including those discovered at Stonehenge. Human bones and artifacts that have undergone radiocarbon testing have shown that the monument's history really dates back to roughly 3000 BC, which is unquestionably too ancient to have been constructed by the Romans, the Mycenaeans, Merlin, etc. Unfortunately, the identity of the crew who built Stonehenge remains a mystery, since not much of their work has been preserved. The fact that Stonehenge, like many other historic sites, wasn't created in a day, or even in a century, adds to the complexity of the tale. The site underwent a number of stages of development over around 1,500 years, perhaps by several groups of people. The circular ditch that still surrounds the monument was dug during the first building, which was completed roughly 5,000 years ago. This feature closely resembles a henge, a sort of ancient earthwork. Part of this information comes from the carbon dating of tools that were left behind. However, inside the henge, we have also discovered incinerated human remains from this period. Although it's conceivable that a few earlier stones were also erected during this period, additional evidence suggests that the famed, enormous standing stones didn't appear for another 500 years. Therefore, even if there isn't enough evidence to determine who performed the labor-intensive tasks, archaeology has been able to assist us in determining the period that has eliminated certain candidates. Magic, too, has been woven into the tapestry of Stonehenge's construction in various interpretations. In some legends, it's suggested that magic or wizardry, like that attributed to the legendary Merlin, was employed in the creation of Stonehenge. This magical element adds an enchanting aspect to the story, sparking the imagination and fueling curiosity about the methods used by ancient peoples to build such a remarkable structure. We've also been able to deduce how Stonehenge was constructed thanks to science. And one thing is for sure, getting all these rocks into position was no simple task. At Stonehenge, there are primarily two types of stones, or megaliths. The massive sarsens often weigh 22 metric tons individually, compared to the modest 2 to 5 metric tons of the blue stones. At the location now, there are around 30 stones organized into 2 outer circles and 2 inner horseshoes. However, judging by the trenches bored into the earth, more probably formerly existed. From what we can understand, workers first excavated holes for the rocks to sit in and then pulled them upright, perhaps with the assistance of ropes, A-frames, and many and lots of people. Then to create what builders refer to as lintels, the beam that spans the top of a doorway, the standing stones were crowned with horizontal beams. These were likely transported there on wooden platforms that were taken apart after being built. However, these lintels weren't merely thrown there. The architects cut tabs, slots, and joints into the boulders in order to put them together like a very hefty piece of IKEA furniture by inserting tab A into slot B. This indeed represents some really sophisticated engineering for the time, but unlike what many internet forums claim, it's not inconceivable. According to archaeologists, substantial construction on Stonehenge proceeded up until around 1500 BCE, during which time new earthwork structures were uncovered and the blue stones were repeatedly repositioned. The main queries that scientists and historians have had, however, have not been about who constructed the tower and how. The true puzzle is how the stones got there, not where they are. As you can see, the blue stones are built in different ways from rhyolite, dolerite, and other kinds of rock, while the large sarsens are constructed of sandstone. However, none of them are compatible with the local geology. Fortunately, a stone has the same geologic age and makeup as the formation it originated from, regardless of how far it has moved. Geologists have, therefore, been able to search for outcrops that fit Stonehenge's characteristics after examining the mineral composition of the stones there, and establishing their age using different methods of radiometric dating. And we have some solutions. Although there is much disagreement, many researchers think the sarsens originated in the Marlborough Downs, which is located around 32 kilometers from Stonehenge. Furthermore, the blue stones most likely originated in Wales' Preseli Hills, more than 200 kilometers distant. Even better, a 2015 research published in the journal Antiquity found a location that not only has the same geology as the blue stones, but also exhibits signs of quarrying at the appropriate time. The experts have hypothesized that this may have been the location where the Stonehenge rocks were really taken. It is just remarkable. Naturally, it still leaves open the question of how the rocks were relocated. It would appear to be an impossible feat. Hence, it has been suggested that no one moved the rocks at all. But this time, I'm not referring to extraterrestrial life. I'm referring to glaciers. The idea that these enormous stones could have been glacial drop stones, carried by moving glaciers and left behind as the ice retreated, has been put forward several times. But contemporary archaeologists don't often concur with this. They point out, for starters, that there isn't much solid evidence of glacial activity on the Salisbury Plain. there are no significant glacier-borne rock heaps to be seen, and there are definitely no deposits of the kind of stones needed to construct Stonehenge. Additionally, they contend that glaciers are not necessary to explain how these megaliths move. Once again, human ingenuity is sufficient. For instance, some scientists speculate that the rocks may have crossed a body of water. They might have been carried into boats and transported around rivers and beaches by ancient peoples. Some researchers have even pinpointed the precise streams that the blue stones from Wales' Preseli Hills may have traveled through to reach Stonehenge. However, the stones may have traveled across land. A group of University College London students ran an experiment in 2016 to see how difficult it would be to transport a megalith. They built a sizable wooden sleigh that was placed on top of a route made of logs, drawing inspiration from old Japanese engineering. They loaded the sleigh with around a metric ton of stone and dragged it through Gordon Square in London. They were able to move the rock up to 3.5 kilometers per hour with only 10 persons tugging. So the builders of Stonehenge may have used a similar strategy. Or, as some experts have suggested, they just gathered a group of people and transported the rocks. Since no one has discovered any concrete proof of a transit route, it's difficult to determine which of these theories, if any, is the most accurate. After all, a very long time has passed. However, there is evidence to believe that humanity might have at least moved these megaliths without the use of magic or tractor beams. That is all for this video. We'll be back soon with another informative video. Don't forget to like and share this video. To keep exploring ancient history together, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Until next time!